Hi guys! I'm currently in the process of moving and launching Volume 2 of The Angel Professor, so I've been pretty busy and haven't really been thinking about YouTube videos at all, except for maybe an Angel Professor Volume 1 recap, which I still need to do. But every so often something comes out that I really want to watch, I actually have time to watch it, and then I just really have to talk about it, so here we are. K-Pop Demon Hunters. The title tells you just about everything you need to know, except not really. I saw this trailer a while ago and I really did want to watch the movie. It just looked so unique and dumb and had really gorgeous animation. Yeah, I was so down. An easy watch. And it was an easy watch, but it also was not what I was expecting, but in a very good way. I thought this was just going to be a comedy where girls whoop demons and look cute while doing it, and it certainly is that, but it's also a lot more compelling, surprisingly. For the sake of fairness, I should get some light criticisms out of the way before I start glazing it, because it's not perfect. Some of the comedy and humor isn't my favorite, like it's very cliche, like very predictable, unfunny lines of dialogue at times that are trying to be funny. Like, you know the kind of dialogue where somebody says, oh, come on, it's not like this is going to happen, and then someone calls them saying, oh my gosh, this is happening, and it's exactly what they just said. That happens at least a couple times, which is tolerable, it's just a little annoying. That being said, even if dialogue isn't this movie's funniest bit, it's still a very funny movie. There are some visual gags I have not seen the likes of since like old Looney Tunes, but with this Korean or girly spin on it, it would have been a blast to animate, I think. I think the other biggest criticism I have is that while there is a very good story here and we have some very likable characters, there is not much fleshing out of most of them. Most of them don't have backstories other than them being mentioned, which doesn't really show us what we need to see. Surprisingly, you still care about those characters, even the ones that didn't get flashbacks. I'm thinking the other two main characters besides the main character, which is Rumi. The other girls, Mira and Zoe, are still really likable, and I think because they're so likable, even though we don't see their backstories, we still feel sorry for them later on. But at the same time, I still think the emotional moments later would hit us harder and we would care more if we did know more about them. Even the two characters that the movie does decide to flesh out still could use a lot more fleshing out, and I think a lot of this might be due to the runtime. So considering what runtime they had, I guess they did a pretty good job. It definitely would have been better if we did know a lot more about these characters though, since their backstories leave some very big questions. However, yeah, I'm still happy we got something, and maybe the likability factor also just really adds to us feeling the weight at the end of the film. I think that's what surprised me the most about this movie, is that it does have emotional weight. Like, it went some places I did not expect it to. Some places where, if you use it as a metaphor in the context of real life, are actually very dark. Now, I don't really want to tell you the story so much as tell you about the story, since you should really just watch this one. But for context sake, I'll try to explain a little bit. This story is basically what you're thinking it is. Like, these three girls go up against a demon boy band, and they're already demon hunters, so this is just a new boss for them to fight. But it's personal now, because instead of just going after the hunters, they're now going after the hunters' fans, and that's a no-no. And these boys are targeting their fans in a way where the girls can't really do anything about it publicly or openly, so it makes it even harder for them. But the twist that I did not see coming, which completely changes your perception of the story, is that Rumi, the lead singer of the girl group, is secretly a half demon, and she is hiding her demon marks and trying to get rid of them so she can finally be free of this shameful secret. During a fight in the men's bathhouse, yeah, they followed them in there, the lead singer of the boy band notices Rumi's marks after he tears her sleeve, but surprisingly, he protects her and covers it up before running away. This is because Jinu, the lead singer, is all too familiar with those markings. He is covered in them, and he understands that those markings represent shame. Jinu tells his boss, Guima, who basically looks like a flaming mouth of Sauron, that he will find out what Rumi's shame is and use it against her in their plan. Shame isn't a word you hear that often discussed seriously, let alone it being a central theme in a kids' movie. Not only was I not expecting this at all, it shook me up pretty bad because shame is something I deal with all the time. I grew up in a very strict and too rigid household, and yeah, that just had so much of a lasting effect on me that I often don't even realize just how much shame I'm subconsciously carrying. Like, a little bit of healthy shame is one thing, like if you did something unacceptable or illegal or you hurt someone or whatever, but Long term, shame absolutely destroys people from the inside out. This movie's message is full of metaphors and actually has a lot of layers to it. I've seen it interpreted a few different ways. For example, one of those was someone was saying how it's showing how you can use music for good or evil, like as a tool to connect people or as a tool to control people. And that's a fantastic interpretation. But if you're willing to humor me a little bit, I'd like to take this opportunity to express my own interpretation. And in no way am I saying that this is exactly how the writers intended it, but I don't think I'm going to be the only one who at least sees something along these lines in here. Rumi and Jinu end up connecting over their shared sense of shame. Jinu opens up right away about how 400 years ago he was just a man living in poverty, and he made a deal with Guima to help him and his family. But of course, that had negative consequences. He became a demon. The markings started growing. He was soon condemned to the underworld, never to see his family again, and forever haunted by their faces. Jinu was led astray by a voice in his head telling him that he wasn't enough to protect his family, but that he could become more. Meanwhile, Rumi was taught from a young age to hide her markings, to never let anyone see them. And she may have never been told this directly, but she believed deep in her heart that she was a mistake, that she wasn't supposed to exist. So Rumi does exactly that. She hides and lies to everyone for her entire life, and she is so good at it. Everyone around her loves her and sees her as a role model, but deep down she is constantly crushed by this pressure and fear of someone seeing through her, until finally Jinu's plan is complete and her friends see her for who she really is, for what she really is. Just as she feared, they cannot see her the same way anymore. While there certainly was some sincerity in Jinu and Rumi's meetings, Jinu ultimately lied and used her. He didn't make that deal with Guima for his family, he made that deal for himself and abandoned them. Now he is forever tormented by the knowledge of that sin. The marks on his body, the voices in his head, they all constantly mock him. His sin has earned him this living hell, but he believes that this is nothing less than what he deserves. Now, in case it's not obvious, these markings are a loaded metaphor. The movie says they represent shame, but they're a constant reminder of sin or someone else's sin. And one way people deal with that shame is to self-harm. Often that leads to visible marks. Other than being a liar to her friends, Rumi's sin isn't directly against someone like Jinu's was. Her existence isn't a sin, but it does feel like it, especially when the people who raised her and knew of her origins told her to hide. This feels similar to someone in real life who was maybe born out of wedlock or out of some other very unfortunate circumstance. And none of that is her fault. She's completely innocent, but it will haunt her for the rest of her life because of everyone else's perspective. And knowing how people will see her, the shame of that grows and grows until it's impossible to hide. Now, Jinu committed a horribly selfish act, but his knowledge of that and his belief that he doesn't deserve freedom from the pain causes him to sink deeper and deeper into pain and hurting others as well as himself. Real demons aren't so much mythical monsters as they are the voices in your head. And it's whether you listen to them or not that determines if you become the monster that the voices say you already are. The movie's solution is to stop hiding, stop lying, and to face everyone as you are. To allow your sins, or the jagged edges as they call them, to meet the light. There is no freedom without this. Now it may seem like it, but the demon's voices are not the most powerful thing in the world. The voice inside you is, and the voice of others around you, if they love you, can help to strengthen that. Listen to those voices instead. I can't say I'm there yet. It still really feels like the evil voices are right, but at the same time, there are still the other voices, and we can choose who we listen to. We can keep choosing over and over again. I wasn't expecting to cry during this movie, but I did. I sincerely hope it speaks to many other people the way it did to me. The emotions in this movie hit pretty hard, all things considered, although it is still kind of a silly movie. If you love music like K-pop, and especially if you love animation, I think you will also really love this. This is not one of those movies that sings too much or wastes their songs. These songs are very important to the story. Just for a small example, earlier in the movie when the Saja boys are introduced, they sing a really cute fluff song called Soda Pop, but it's cute and fluffy and innocent in order to reel in the hearts and minds of the audience. Then, during the climax, the boys' true colors are revealed through the song Your Idol, and the lyrics, in context, are diabolical. This is my new favorite villain song. I can't stop listening to it. There are a lot of other great songs in this movie too, and I just really appreciate how well utilized each one is. None of them are there to just fill space. Anyways, this movie's pretty hype. See, I even drew fan art for it. I'll try to link my Discord server and Instagram in the comment below or something. But as always, thank you for listening. Keep telling your story.